r/AskReddit. Moms of Reddit, what is a wild secret of your past that your kids rather not know about? Not sure how wild this is, but right before I was born, like 2 or 3 days beforehand, my dad's older cousin had a daughter born severely unhealthy. She wasn't stillborn, but she wasn't going to make it past a few days. So anyway, after I was born, my dad's aunt came into the delivery room and said to my mum, "You two are young, you'll have plenty of time to have another child, but my daughter can't. Let me buy this baby off of you." I only found out about this when I was 15 because my sister told me. Apparently, my parents never planned on telling me this. Edit, fucking autocorrect. My in-laws keep doing this shit with my 1-year-old. She lost a boy when she was 6 months pregnant 6 years ago. They tried fertility treatments and whatnot. She didn't get pregnant again. That wasn't their first loss either. They had a boy who died of SIDS at 6 months old 20 years ago. When my son was born, they offered to buy him from me. This continues to this day. I'm actually scared of them calling CPS on me for having a child with autism who can't control his emotions. CPS worker here. Agreed, document everything, including that your son has autism, and that they want to buy him. And do not bite your child, no matter what anyone tells you. I don't know if it's as much of a thing in your country as it is in mine, but there's an urban myth here that autistic children bite people because they don't understand that it hurts and that the parent has to bite the child to teach them not to bite. None of that is true, but unfortunately, I've seen some parents put under a lot of pressure to punish their ASD children by biting them. You probably know this, but if you're worried about CPS, I want to make sure you're aware. My mum told me once, while she was tipsy, that my dad was actually her high school teacher and they began a sexual relationship when she was his student at the age of 16. She said they would often have sex with her in school uniform. They managed to keep everything under wraps for years, and they got married when she graduated from college and gave birth to me a few years later. It's shocking how common this is. One girl I graduated with immediately and openly began dating her math teacher as soon as she graduated. They're married now. Few kids and seem genuinely happy. On the other hand, another teacher, science teacher, guy taught all the AP science classes, left his wife when he knocked up a senior cheerleader. Ended up marrying the cheerleader once she graduated. They stayed married for 6 years when he cheated on her with another student. Apparently, the irony was lost on the former cheerleader. A Spanish teacher, guy in his late 20s, used to be uncomfortably close with his female students. He would invite students to his home for dinner and extra studying. Apparently, they were just smoking weed and he was trying to hook up. How do I know this? He invited my then girlfriend to one of these parties with 3 or 4 other girls. She went, but left and felt really dirty when he pulled out the weed and tried to get them to smoke. She'd never smoked weed and had no desire, so she just excused herself. She told me a few days later. She also said she couldn't tell on him to the administration because her friends liked going and didn't want her to be a rat. So, this was an open secret in the school. In fact, it became a running joke that if girls went to his house they'd automatically get A's. This dude continued to have a job for another decade before he was fired. Everyone knew what he was doing, but none of the girls who went ever came forward, out of enjoying the parties or out of peer pressure, and the administration couldn't act on rumors and innuendo. And this was all in some small town in bumfuck middle America. It's fucking insane how much it happens. I'm the dad in this situation. But my wife used to be severely addicted to opiates, which I helped get her out of by moving the family to a new town and letting her spend 2 weeks in bed dealing with withdrawals while I handled every other aspect of the house, including finding work and setting up the kids for school, etc. I just told the kids she was sick and needed to sleep, which wasn't entirely false. It was super emotionally taxing, but I would do it again in a heartbeat because it worked and she's been clean for 2 years. Congratulations to your wife and you for beating her addictions. My mom told my siblings and me on Easter when I was 14 that she used to be a child prostitute for the Yakuza. She told us because her sister was going to tell us because she felt like my mum had stolen her daughter and was using it as a bargaining chip. My cousin came to live with us across the country because her mom was in jail for drug abuse. Whoa. Your poor mom. Growing up, my mother was a titan. She graduated top of her class in her field and chaired several major drug regulation boards. She was always very serious about school, and we were told that B's were absolutely unacceptable because she was a straight A student all through college. We took that to heart up until I was cleaning out the attic a few years ago when I discovered some old grade reports from college. Guess who got a C in sociology and another one in linear algebra? Tough take, mom. Tough take. This is a good one, lol. My mum used to date a drug lord in Birmingham but was practical his crack whore. He raped her, she had my brother, and to get away from it all, she joined the military. Dude ended up going to prison at the same time and was stabbed to death just a few weeks in. My mother didn't tell us or my brother until he was around 35-ish. Wow. Thanks for the silver, kind stranger. My first. Just wondering if this Birmingham, Alabama or Birmingham, UK. He said mom, not mum, so I'm guessing Alabama. Edit, I'm being told that they apparently say mum in Birmingham, UK for some weird reason. Would they also have said dude instead of something like bloke? Because in that case, I have no idea. And he said crack whore, not biscuit slut. Edit, thanks for ye olde. My mother always smiled at me. I can't remember seeing her without a smile. When I grew up, I discover she has chronic crippling depression. Edit, corrected my bad English. Thanks for the gold and silver, I wasn't expecting that. Well, I just visited my parents. I talked a lot with her and told her that I'm proud of her, and that she can count on me. I can't talk about her depression directly, but at least I hope that makes her feel a little bit better. Despite her depression, she's the strongest person I know. To the world. You may be one person, to one person you may be the world. Dr. Seuss. All I can do for my son, Dad here, is smile, play games, and make sound effects with him. He doesn't know I've been dealing with depression for almost 10 years before he was born. He saw me cry once as I had a breakdown in the car after we left the zoo. I just told him I hit my toe a bit too hard and Daddy will be alright. I hope it will be alright. Just found out last year that my mum got pregnant in college. The guy split as soon as he found out and she never saw him again. She decided to have the baby, avoided going home when she was showing and gave it up for adoption. My grandparents never knew. They died a few years ago, and I found out due to an Ancestry.com DNA test. My half-brother contacted me and we pieced it together. She was relieved that it all came out in the end. It had been weighing on her all these years. She's in her 70s. I'm 40 now, and my new half-brother is 52 or so. Needless to say, it was a huge surprise. I never in a million years would have guessed at that. Edit, just to clear up any confusion. My mom had my brother in college and had me in her 30s. Edit, also, no, this isn't an advertisement, it really happened and I only mentioned the site because that's how he found me. Otherwise, I don't think we'd have ever found out. My mom was relieved that it came out but was too scared to have ever come out with it on her own. My mum was a crazy native child that started smoking at 10, smoke or choke as my grandma put it, sold single cigarettes in elementary school, once burned down a patch of forest because she was playing with fire with her friends, smoked her brother's weed and drank with her dad, and ran away from home at 19. Now she scolds me and my sis for swearing in front of her. Edit, okay, wow, I was not expecting this to get as upvoted as it has been. These were just offhanded things I remembered off the top of my head. For those wondering, she did not grow up on the res but her family did. They moved away for work as far as I remember. She's Chippewa from ND. Any mean comments about her can be directed elsewhere because I love my mom and my family to bits and we have all put in a lot of work to have the wonderful relationship that we do now. She's been through a lot but I'm very proud of who she is today as she reconnects with her family and her culture. Oh boy. My mom has a lot of shit in her past. My mom has done a lot of drugs, got a fake ID for a full-time job and booze, beat up a lot of girls my shios cheated on in high school, dropped out of high school, got my grandpa arrested, and lived a shitty childhood in general. She told us everything she did to try and lead us through a better childhood. Bonus. On our way to a Little League baseball game as a kid, we got cut off by some young woman and her boyfriend when we were leaving our shared driveway with them. My mom got out of the car and was chewing them when the girl for some reason shoved my mom. Mom tackled her and punched the shit out of her. The dumb girl tried to grab a rock, and my mom pinned her arm down with her knee while smashing her face in. BF tried pulling my mom off and got an elbow, then he just sat back scared. Interesting to see as a kid.